I've been lucky enough to watch these 2 episodes or the mini-series that depicts... It's a dramatisation of when Emily Maitlis from Newsnight interviewed Andrew, and it's personally, it should come out on Halloween. I mean, it's like a horror movie. It's just like a complete and utter takedown of Prince Andrew. Just when he thought it couldn't get worse for the interview that he gave and the ridiculous excuses that he presented, he's completely pulled apart. He's played as very pompous, arrogant, childish, and I'm just wondering from you two where Andrew can go with his tattered... Is there anywhere he can go?
Can I ask you, though, from your position, obviously having worked with the Palace in terms of, you know, contacting them for stories, etc., how do you think they feel about this second Andrew story coming out? Because these have been on the boil. There was this one and Scoop, and they were on the boil for so long. We knew they were coming. They're now both released. This one has been the first part released. But knowing what you know about the inner workings of the Palace, how do you think they're reacting to this one?
Well, they treat a lot of these things with just a shrug, whether it's a book, whether it's Spare or the whole Netflix series. They're just like, well, there's always something. There's always another television programme. But I think with this one, there isn't a person on the world that doesn't know that Andrew's been cast out of the royal family over allegations of Virginia Giuffre and Jeffrey Epstein. There's not a person that doesn't know that he said... I was at a Pizza Express on that day for a birthday, or you know, and I don't sweat. Everybody knows, but what it does, it just piles more and more and more pressure more scandal onto the royal family, worldwide scandal, and it damages their reputation. It's just that's what Charles is trying to do at the moment. He's trying to lever him out of Royal Lodge to just make him go away. But yeah, as you point out, Netflix and now Amazon. It proves that it's not going to go away. There'll probably be another dramatisation in the future. But
I don't think it pours any more pressure on royal family's reputation. I think that was covered so well, and they dealt with him by pushing him out. He's a non-person now. I mean, he's nowhere connected to it. And every time he tries to knock on the door to come back and wear his medals and whatever, he's immediately put away. They've taken a very aggressive attitude to actually distance him. And I think it's about him now. He is the brand. He's no longer in people's perception of Windsor. They've closed down the family, and I think this is just more of the same. I get a feeling that I haven't watched it, you have. We're bored with it. We know what happens. We've had loads of stuff on it. You know, he didn't choose his fans very well. All the stuff you're describing, people have known about him for years. You know, and, you know, when he had Pitch at the Palace, actually he did a lot of good for start-up businesses and whatever. You know, he again, that's what he was bred to do. Only he was never going to get to the heights, you know, of power. But he did use it well. But he's nowhere. He's gone.
Where do you think he should go?
I really don't think that causes any headaches for our family any longer.
Where do you think... What would you do with Prince Andrew? What should he do? He can't give another interview, can he?
You know, there was absolutely no way that anybody would go anywhere near Prince Andrew. There's nothing to redeem there, and particularly when he's been ejected. I think, you know, he just needs to just carry on playing golf and driving his cars around the estate and whatever and keeping it. I think he could do something very surprising in doing something very subtle in terms of a charitable aspect or whatever, using some of his network, which he still has got, to do things. But he needs to be, that's his problem for himself, he needs to be back in the fold. And all he's doing is trying to knock on a bolted door, you know, that will never reopen for him. The problem all these people have is that whatever they do to rehabilitate themselves, it's a story. And as soon as it's a story, everybody's looking to see whether that's going to fail or succeed. The fact is, somehow you've got to do it in such a way that it's so low-key now, in a very different world where everybody's on, everybody's got a phone in their hand that can actually take 4K film. You know, there is no privacy. So how do you do things when no one can see the join? Because that's great PR. When something has happened, you think, how the hell did that happen? No, you haven't named the publicist, you haven't named the image consultant or whatever. It's sort of, by osmosis, it's changed. And that is the future of PR. The fact is now that, you know, certainly everybody's talking about it, you've got to find a way of, you know, of going through that change and getting help without it becoming a story.
Right, we need to rattle through our quickfire questions to both guests. Whoever wants to go first, you can jump straight in. So the first question is, we were talking about birthdays earlier, so which royal do you think would throw the best birthday party?
Oh, I know, without a doubt. Has to be Beatrice or Eugenie. And the reason I say this is because of that amazing story from a few years ago where she apparently tried to knight Ed Sheeran at one of the parties. It was Beatrice tried to knight him and she was trying to knight James Blunt and she cut Ed Sheeran in the face. I'm not suggesting that getting cut in the face at a party is a sign of a good one, but I want to see everything that led up to that moment. I want to be at that party.
If you come back from a party with a scar and you've been with Ed Sheeran, two princesses and James Blunt, that's a good party.
It's a good story.
Sarah Phillips.
Okay.
Great husband, Mike Tyndall.
Yeah.
Very, very down to earth. Lives not very far from me.
Sounds like you're wrangling after an invite.
Yeah.
And they get on with it with such humour, and they're very happy together. They've got a great crowd of people. That's the party I'd want to be at.
Excellent. Front page of The Sun this week. Prince George is learning to fly, aged 11 years old. But which royal would you want to take control of a plane in an emergency?
Somebody who could fly the planes is maybe Prince Andrew. Because it's about self-survival.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very accomplished military pilot. So if I was in a helicopter, and it was heading downwards, he'd be trying to
There is redemption for the Duke
He
of
would
York.
save himself first.
Yeah, but that means you have to be hanging out with him either before or after, and I don't know. I think Harry or William, they've got aviation training, helicopters, planes, it's all the same, right?
Yeah, that'd help you out. And our final question to both of you. We're talking about reputations and images here. I mean, which royal has the worst reputation or image? Is it Harry, Meghan, Andrew, or another?
Andrew. It's got to be Andrew.
There's no doubt about it.
No coming back for Andrew.
No.
Andrew is at the bottom. OK. Harry's birthday.
Yes.
I didn't get an invite. It seems that he went to Tyler Perry's 55th birthday. He was an old friend, a Hollywood pal who gave him a mansion to live in a few years ago. Oprah was there. I think the bosses of Paramount were there. He went to a party on Saturday night, a quiet day with the family on Sunday, and then went away with friends for the Sunday evening. They went hiking. Do you think he's happy turning 40? What do you think about these birthday celebrations?
Is anybody happy for it? I passed it. I'm sure you two haven't, but no, it's tough.
There's just such a tale of two Harrys at the moment. I think more so than ever before in the last few weeks. It's hard to know which it is. It depends what you're reading. Either Harry is never happier than he is right now. He's completely content as a father and in the work that he's doing, or he's reaching out to his old acquaintances back in the UK and trying to find a way back into the fold and is desperately missing aspects of his life here. I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. I hope he's happy. I know that he always said that he wanted to be a dad, and now he has two kids, and I'm sure that is something that's giving him a lot of joy now. But the other side of it is he has talked about how he'd lost a lot of friends through this process, and birthdays, particularly milestone birthdays, are such a point of reflection. It is absolutely the case that he would have reflected at some point on his 40th of the fact that he's not surrounded by the friends that he had from his school days, or these people that he knew that knew him so well for so many decades. The fact that he's not speaking to his brother, that he's, has tension with his father. It is sad. I think he's got some joy there, but it's milestone birthdays and occasions like this are always the ones that put it into sharp focus. And the fact that he had such a small celebration over there, it really just puts it all into very sharp focus where everything's at.
It was entirely different to his 30th birthday when I think William and Catherine threw him a big party at Clarence House. I mean, that over those 10 years, so much has...
With all his old friends. And he just launched Invictus Games back then. He was sort of riding high and he'd found purpose, which again is something at the moment that I think he's grappling with. So, yeah, it's quite sad.
Now, another royal who needs a bit of PR help is Prince Andrew. So